Today we have a 94 Chevy Silverado. This is a system I really like. It's a 2 to 3 piece system. We have the control box here in the top of the dash. You can have cassette and equalizer over here. You can have cassette with a little pocket next to it. There are 3 pieces in this system. The third piece is located down here. We have a removal guide on our website, but it is located right here. And this is the CDM box. And of course we have the cassette and EQ on the right, and up here on the top of the dash we have the control head. The CDM is usually the cause of all problems in this system. It can cause poor audio for the clock to come on and be stuck at 1 o'clock. We also have distortion. The speakers can be distorted. This could also be a speaker problem on this one. We've had this vehicle in the shop and the CDM checked good, so we know that the control head is bad. So we're going to replace the control head here today. We're going to start with lowering the steering column. This will help give us a little bit more room here. This piece, the control unit, along with the cassette unit, they all plug into the CDM at the bottom of the dash there. So we're going to also have to disconnect them from there and make sure everything runs properly. But there are 4 T20, Torx 20 screws along the edge of the front panel here. 2 on the right and 2 on the left, 1 at the top left, 1 at the bottom, and the opposite 2, of course, we've just removed. These are going to help remove this front panel. These screws are all the same size, so there's no sense of marking them as to where they go. And this is going to help remove this panel, and we're going to have to fight and play with this a little bit. We do have some connectors over on this side over here. Work this panel off. We've got part of the gear shift in the way. So we're going to set the parking brake, which is good. I'm going to also put our foot on the brake. Turn the ignition on and pull the gear shift down. And this panel will come right off and swing around, and we can get the final connector over here on the side. There are 3 connectors here. We're on a hill slightly, so I'm going to put it back into park. Now here at the side, it was difficult to see these connectors that were connected to this side of the panel. But this was one of the main connectors here. This one had a trigger here on the top of it that you would push down. It releases the little lock, and then this connector was difficult to release. This was the second connector we removed. It was a little bit more difficult. This was a push down release. This one was, we had to put it sat in the dash at this spot against the side panel here, so it was very difficult to see this tab, but we put a small pry tool down and lifted as it sits like this. We lifted this away from the connector, and this one wiggled away. We then took the panel off, and that gave us access to the final connector here that was at the bottom of the panel. This was another lift to release. And then we'll remove this panel and set this to the side. This is going to give access to the control unit. Screws on the control unit are usually 7mm. There's 1 here on the right, or actually there's 2 here on the right. 2 screws, 7mm on the right. And it looks like we're going to have 2 different sides. It looks like we got 1 more here on the top. We have 3 black screws on the control unit, and we have 4 on the AC controls just below it. Oh, whoa. These are also on the AC control unit. 7mm. Now we're going to pull the AC control slightly forward and slightly down, because there is 1 more screw that holds the control head in, and it's located right back here underneath on the left side. With the AC controls out, you can just barely get in here to get a screwdriver on this last screw. Let's see if we can keep that screw from falling to the floor. There we go, another short black screw. Now that should release the control panel here. Now, this goes down and plugs into the CDM. At the front of the CDM there are two connectors, or on the bottom of the CDM there are two connectors. One connector goes, the one closest to the front firewall controls the equalizer and cassette player. The one closest to the back of the vehicle goes to the control head. Okay, and we have two connectors here on this. The one that comes out of the bottom of the CDM also has a white wire on it, and there's a second connector on this white wire that's slightly up in the dash here. We have a little problem getting that one out. Or down and disconnected, I can see, and here we go. And that will remove the head unit, the control head. Control head came out. We had two screws over on the right, one screw at the top. The AC controls had to come out for the remaining screw here on the bottom. We had the cable here that plugged into the CDM box at the bottom. This one had a trigger on it, lift that and the trigger releases. But we also, back up the line, had a white wire coming up about 8 to 12 inches with another connector on it. So we're going to have to hook that back up as well. Hope this video has been helpful. Please subscribe. See our website for other removal videos and stereo repair help. Thank you for watching.